I still see City as our biggest threat because Liverpool, for me, are still unknown in the real big games just yet. They played against Chelsea and they won that game fair. Against Arsenal, I think they kind of got away with it a little bit because, Arsenal had quite a few key players missing. So City are still the main thing for me. And in terms of Liverpool, it's not about they're a bad side, they're a fantastic side right now. But watching their games, there is still a sense of vulnerability. I think you mentioned it earlier that they're a bit more pragmatic, and they definitely are. But they're open as well still. I mean, if you objectively watch yesterday's game, they won the game fantastically, but because they scored, two good goals on a counter-attack. But the amount of chances that Villa missed, if it was Arsenal, we'd be worried, So I think right now, I still will stand by my statement I made last week that I still think City are our biggest threat.
3 months later, and Liverpool are top of the Premier League and 13 points clear of Arsenal. The mighty Arsenal are 13 points behind Liverpool, who are apparently less of a threat than Manchester City. And you know what? He's not lying. Manchester City are a much bigger threat than Liverpool are for Arsenal. As of right now, Manchester City are only 7 points behind Arsenal, while Liverpool are 13 points ahead of them. This is the Arsenal fan base. They delude themselves into thinking they're much better than what they actually are. And Mr. Babs here is one of the higher ranking commanders in the Arsenal hierarchy. Let me read you guys some of the other shit he said just today. Alexander Isak has missed only game all season. This guy can't even spell. But as soon as they play Liverpool, of course, he gets injured. City have no Rodri, Arsenal have no Saka, Liverpool have basically everyone. Now they escape facing the most informed striker in the league. Their luck is crazy. This one is something he reposted. Liverpool had a slice of luck in key fixtures this season. No Vinny for Real Madrid, no Odegaard for Arsenal, no Haaland for City, and no Isak for Newcastle. Match of the Day said if Liverpool lost Salah, Jota, Diaz, and Gakpo, they wouldn't be in the position they're in. And he quoted saying, "This is the uncomfortable conversation they refuse to have." Alex, who's another deluded Arsenal fan, said, "All I say is I'd like to see Liverpool manage a title race run with no Salah, Gakpo, Diaz, or Jota." And he said they'll say copium or reply with childish football Twitter stuff, but is there actually any logical argument against this? Can you guys tell the difference in attitude? 3 months ago, he said Liverpool are not a threat, but now he's trying to run the injury narrative. Ever since he's realized Arsenal are not capitalizing on this Liverpool team, he switched his narrative up and he's trying to say Arsenal have had a lot of injuries and Liverpool have been the most lucky team in the world. Listen, I'm not saying Arsenal haven't had any injuries, but Liverpool themselves have had injuries too this season. The two biggest one being Alisson Becker and Ibrahima Konate being out for several months. Now I know it's not up to the levels of injuries that Arsenal have this season, but let me take you guys back to last season. This was Liverpool's injury list exactly 1 year ago. Mohamed Salah, Darwin Nunez, Dominic Szoboszlai, Ryan Gravenberch, Wataru Endo, Alisson Becker, Curtis Jones, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Diogo Jota, Thiago Alcantara, Stefan Bajcetic, and Joel Matip. Liverpool went into a Carabao Cup final with Kelleher in goal, Robertson, Van Dijk, Konate, and Conor Bradley, Ryan Gravenberch, Wataru Endo, Alexis McAllister, Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo, and Harvey Elliott as a lineup. By the way, that was Liverpool's starting 11. They ended the game with Kwanzaa, Danz, James McConnell, and Bobby Clark all on the pitch. They went on to win that cup final with all those academy players on that pitch. Also, let's not forget, Liverpool were in a title race until mid-April with all those players out. Liverpool went into a title clash with this lineup out. And this isn't against 2025 Man City. This is against Manchester City that were still in the Champions League and were trying to win the Premier League as well. And you know what the crazy thing is? This Liverpool team completely outplayed Manchester City that day. When we ended up falling off at the end of the season, people didn't give us the injuries excuse. Also, we didn't win the league with 97 and 92 points. We were a John Stones clearance away from being Centurions, Invincibles, Premier League and Champions League winners. We missed out on a quadruple because of an Aston Villa implosion and a Courtois masterclass. At this point, we deserve a little luck. And he isn't the only Arsenal fan that's trying to run this injury gimmick. The Alex guy I mentioned earlier, he's up there with one of the worst Arsenal accounts on the platform. Let me show you guys a clip of one of his actual live streams.
But I'm sorry, luck does play a factor. You have a look at the Brentford game. I think Liverpool weren't better than Brentford. Anybody that watches that match.
To say that Liverpool weren't better than Brentford in that game is completely outrageous. Liverpool created the better chances, they were better defensively, they deserved to win that game. And this wouldn't be an Arsenal fans video without mentioning AFTV. There are so many clips that I can pick out of them being deluded. But let me show you guys my favorite one.
I actually think, as good as Liverpool's performance was, I kind of expected Liverpool to win that game because Liverpool are at home, they're playing well. Real Madrid have been very poor so far in the Champions League. Whereas we came up against a team that they were second in the Champions League. They were unbeaten in the Champions League, unbeaten at home in their league for 18 months, unbeaten in their league this season.
They have just lost their manager.
They've lost their manager. They won their game first game without their manager 6-0, right? Before you jump in with that, right? And we absolutely took them apart. Santa Clara, Casapia, Estoril, Rio Avenue, Morinese, Famalicchio, Aruca, Nacional, Gil Vicente, Estrella, AVS, Firenze, and Boa Vista. These are all teams in the Portuguese league. Now, no disrespect to the Portuguese league. Maybe you can play three at the back, week in, week out in a league like that.
Yeah.
But this is the Premier League, my friend.
This guy said that Arsenal's win over Sporting is more impressive than Liverpool's win over Real Madrid, and then months later he's out here clowning the Portuguese league. How do you go from saying beating Sporting is better than beating Real Madrid, and then months later you're clowning the whole league? This one is probably the most funniest one too, them celebrating Robertson's red card against Fulham.
Apparently, and I don't know if this is true,
No.
no, it's a red card for Andy Robertson, apparently. Let's relax, we're not winning!
They celebrated that red card like it was a Champions League winner, bro. All for what? They didn't even gain any points on Liverpool. And you know, I feel bad for the actual Arsenal fans, the ones that actually care about the football club. And these specific fans make people hate Arsenal Football Club as a whole. Like, they beat Manchester City 5-1, but since they're so hated, people actually criticize them more for it. Like, how can you get more criticism for beating the Premier League champions, bro? That doesn't make any sense. But those are my thoughts on the Arsenal fan base. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Of course, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the season, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day.
Yes! Come on! Well done, Arsenal! It's not a win, but it's a fucking good effort.